Who says yes? Hands up if it's true. No one thinks it's true?
I don't know.
Well, I think that's true. I say that's correct, which is why there's an equal sign. So, it is true. So therefore, just as positive 1 is less than positive 2, that is less than that, we have to accept that that is less than that. So we have to accept negative 4 is less than negative 8. And that's consistent with Brahmagupta's laws and the laws of proportion. And yet that's not what the world teaches. The British system has negative 4 is greater than negative 8, which is illogical given positives and negatives are equal and opposite by definition of Brahmagupta. Brahmagupta's laws of integer ordering are intuitive, logical, and correct. So, the same number of positives and negatives sum to 0 as they are equal and opposite. Therefore, today's integer inequality laws, based on Greek foundations, 1,000 years older than India's, are out of date and suboptimal. Basically, they don't make sense when you start to use the mathematics for physics. So let's just believe the light, believe our eyes, we might get a Nobel Prize. So, what's greater? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives or 7 negatives? What's greater? Here. Okay, so we can tell what number is greater. Positives cancel out with these 5 negatives, and we have 2 negatives remaining. So guess what? That's greater than that. This is greater than that, because that's what remains after the 2 are brought together. This is greater than that, because we have negatives remaining after they've been added. And these are equal and opposite, because once we have 5 negatives and 5 positives, they totally cancel each other out. So they are balancing each other in the system, and this is like absolute value that you will teach children in mathematics at some stage. And especially when you start to deal with vectors and so on. So, 5 positives or positive 5s is less than 7 negatives or negative 7. And we can see that positive 1 is less than negative 3. Looking at our eyes, we can see that there are more black than there are red. So there's a greater quantity of whatever it is that's negative, whether it's gravity or deceleration or whatever it is that we're modelling with negative numbers. That force there is greater than that force. Okay, so let's look at these integer inequalities. We can just look at our eyes. We can see that is greater than that. So there's our inequality sign. That is greater than that. They're equal. The 3 negatives are greater than the 1 positive. So negative 3 is greater than positive 1. And positive 3 is greater than negative 1. So looking at our eyes, we get mathematical inequalities which are completely the opposite to what gets taught around the world. And guess what? Brahmagupta's laws of mathematics say this is true. So if you believe in your own astronomer, physicist, Brahmagupta, who gave the world 0 and the laws, this is completely consistent with his laws because it's come from Brahmagupta. I didn't just invent this. I looked with my eyes, and then for 35 years I was looking for mathematics that agreed with my eyes, and I found that in India with Brahmagupta. So there are more inequalities. Slightly too much font for the size of the screen. So seeing is believing. So let's look very quickly at some of these laws, very quickly. And please, when my time is up, just put your hand up or split my throat, and I'll stop talking. So, Brahmagupta's subtraction law number 1 says if a smaller positive is subtracted from a larger positive, the result is positive. So here we've got positive 4, and here we've got positive 3. So positive 3 is less than positive 4, so when we subtract the the smaller positive from the larger, the result is positive, and that's the result.
Height is plus.
Okay, alright. I will start to talk more quickly.
Yeah.
Larger positive minus smaller positive is positive. Now, if a smaller negative is subtracted from larger negative, the result is negative. So there's the difference. So larger negative minus smaller negative is negative. But here's Brahmagupta's law that disproves integer inequalities taught around the world. Brahmagupta said if a larger positive is subtracted from a smaller positive, the sign of the difference is reversed and positive becomes negative. So here, we've got positive 3, and here we've got positive 4. Positive 4 is larger than positive 3. So Brahmagupta's law says that when we subtract larger from smaller, the sign of the answer changes. And that's what happens. So add 0 to solve the problem. So we add 0 here, and now we subtract the positive 4 from the 4 positives contained inside 0. So they're gone now. So we took those from there. Boom, there it goes. Now we simplify. That is 0. And so therefore that's the answer that remains by physical deduction. That's the only way that it can be from the laws of Brahmagupta. So 3 positives minus 4 positives is 1 negative. That is true. So here we've got 4 negatives being subtracted from 2 negatives. We can't do that. We don't have enough negatives. So using Brahmagupta, we're going to add 0. So negative 2 minus negative 4, we can't do it. So we add 0. Boom. We've added 0. We can now subtract negative 4 from the negative 4 inside 0. So we subtract it goes away. Now we simplify. That becomes 0. And that's the answer to negative 2 minus negative 4. So, look, with your larger negative is subtracted from a smaller negative. Brahmagupta says negative 4 is larger than negative 2. That is true. What has been taught around the world for centuries is not true. After all, a hole 4 deep is much greater hole than a hole only 2 deep. Children know that to be true. So there's the answer. So I'll whiz through these very quickly, and you'll have the slideshow. Here's the point. Brahmagupta was roughly 1,000 years before René Descartes. Okay? René Descartes, in his book La Géométrie, this is the first diagram he used to explain multiplication, and he explains multiplication via similar triangles. But this is all based on positive magnitudes because this came out of Euclid. Euclid only had positive magnitudes. But guess what happens if we then turn this into a dynamic model? So if we say that this is the origin, if we set it 0, imagine if we continued the lines from 1637. Imagine if we just continued the line on the other side of 0, that way. And imagine if we just continued the line. That's a positive line, so therefore from Brahmagupta, that has to be a negative line. So imagine what happens if we drag, which you can do with the software, and have a negative multiplicand on this side, and a negative multiplier, guess what? You have a positive product. So if René Descartes had understood Indian mathematics, he would have also been able to model with Euclid negative into negative results in a positive. But he never did that. So there you are. That's the end of the talk. Pogo the Puppy says, for lectures, events or interviews with me, please contact AFX Animation Kolkata, and they will always be able to pass on your questions or anything to me. Thank you very much. If you have any feedback, just go to jonathancrabtree.com/feedback to ask any questions. Thank you very much. And that's the end.